All right, good morning, everyone. Wash and talk time. Not, as you see from the title, not on the E36, although I was thinking I should wash this before I send it off. Maybe I'll do a wash and talk on this next week, and because I think this leaves next weekend, I hope. I forget to go get the interior. Rushing here a bit today as I didn't get up as early as I'd hoped. It's like 9 o'clock now, so I'm gonna try to beat the sun. Yeah. This thing is good though. If you watched my Instagram live video, this car, we got some work to do. Got to get the interior done, but it's getting close, people. I'm telling you, this is going to be a beloved car. Beloved to the point where I think I'm going to go. Maybe I'll get an S50, do a modified S50, but it sounds really good. Just put it over here in the shade. Clutch feels good, brakes feel good. E92 is pretty dirty, people. Got love bugs all over it. And had a hard week this week. I drove it hard. That's what the insecure say. I drove it hard. You don't even drive your car hard, man. Whatever that means. I have a friend, Ryan, who drives his cars hard. And I feel bad for those cars. Hard means ruined. All right, let's get set up. I've always skipped this part for you, so let's just do it together here today. Well, I've been started the pressure washing project again. Notice behind me. Look at this chaos. Yeah, this stuff drives me crazy. This time we're going to be a lot more efficient in that I'm going to roll through those, sell them off immediately. That whole entire room back there to your, behind the, right there, behind the pressure washer is filled with Sun Joes, 15 of them. And I have like 10 more ARs coming. Oh, the commentary on those videos is what you want to come for. Because I'm a bit much. So, let's put our proper fitting back on. This is the Prevost fitting, which actually, I didn't think I'd like it because it's not stainless, but they're actually pretty nice. This is the one where it has a seal, and so you could you could change hoses if you wanted to. It actually turned out pretty nice. Let's fill up our rinse bucket. Let's put our grit guard back in here first. Uh-oh. What's that leaking? Oh, that thing's loose. Try that again. All right. Gosh, I got the darn frickin' COVID, and then I got a cold like 2 weeks later. I got a cold all week. It's driving me crazy. I can't frickin' sleep. All right, let's do our foam cannon. I got a new prototype, a new head on this, which has a little bit better operation. They designed it, did a little different design on it. That's good there. I need to fill up the other smaller bottle. 150 milliliters. That's pretty good. Yep, okay. Set this aside. So, yeah, E92 is doing great, except there's so much spring noise. Like this, I've determined, I put the car up in the air. I'm certain it's the spring binding up a bit on my Olin's set. So I don't know what to do. I really don't want to take it apart and have to go have it realigned. Okay. Oh yeah, that operation's really nice. Okay, I got that mixed up. I got that ready to go. We'll let that sit there. Let's get this ready to go. There's no such thing as a quick wash on the E92 because it has regular brakes. Oh, I forgot to set the pressure washer up. Okay, let's move. Ooh, that looks good. I'll get E36 in the background. All right. The weather's finally starting to break. Yeah, see, this chair is too tall. Like for lowered cars, it's a little too high. So, the E92 is doing well. I need to do some Alcantara cleaning, so it needs an interior detail. And I don't like this little clip. Get rid of that frickin' thing. I like that it's not in the bucket, but I don't like that I don't like how it sits. Okay, what do I need here? I need this guy. I hate parking this close to the curb, but the sun's gonna get me. So, yeah, I've got a Barry from 3DM is gonna come down, and we're gonna do a bunch of videos on all the car suspensions. And probably do that after the E36 gets back. So once that comes back, interior and stereo, then we'll work on the suspension on this thing. It's fine. It's just that there's lots of noise, and I don't like that. I just feel like it's broken. But it's not. So I made a lot of progress the last week or so. My house is coming together. I'm probably a month out from having that relatively put together. They painted the cabinets this week. They did, which I will never do again. Never paint your cabinets on site because it's like white trash fancy style. It's just not good. No matter how good they are, it just doesn't come out right. It's got to be done like on site. So you can take the doors off and paint those, but the boxes just don't come out as nice. So it looks a little DIY, and I don't like that. At least my nose is finally starting to run because it was freaking stuffed up for a week. I had those deals where you lay on the right side and all the freaking mucus runs to the right side, and then you flip over and lay on the other side and all the mucus runs the other way. Oh, horrible. Yeah. What was I talking about? I forget. So, progress. So the cabinets are painted. My Nature Cast exterior cabinets are in. You've got to go, I'm telling you. If you guys watch these videos and you're not a member of Inside the Hex, you're missing out, man. It's getting real good. It's starting to shape into creating the videos that I've thought about. So, you know, we're doing 3-4 videos a week there. And I also thought about, you know, we got 2,000 members. Come on. Brake Buster's a killer to any kind of sprayer. We found that out. But yeah, we got 2,000 members. Figure 2,000 members, an average of say $100, $120 a month, because we have a bunch of Hex Plus members, so you get a discount in the store. Free shipping, priority on everything. So, yeah, the YouTube channel generates. Right now, it's falling off because I've been slacking on it. Not that I've been slacking, just diverted resources for a short period of time. Oh, that's right, we need to recoat these wheels. Gosh, this camera's so good. It's just, this is actually how dark it is out here. How shaded it is. So the YouTube channel makes generally about $6,000 a month. And the membership platform makes, well, what would that be? $20,000 a month. So I never really thought about it. But all you freeloaders watching here on YouTube, you should keep diverting videos back to my own platform where YouTube doesn't take any of the money. So I'm not going to do that. I'll do both. But Matt, $8 a month is a lot of money. Okay, you say so. See, it's comments like that is why I would never sign up for anything of yours, because you don't get it. You're a jerk. I'm actually really nice. I just don't treat you like a baby. You know, that's always been my assumption, is that you're not an idiot. You meaning all you people watching. So, anyway, Inside the Hex is getting good. I need to start talking about it more. I have a goal. My goal is I want to get to 10,000 members. That way, the membership program would cover the payroll, at least the current payroll costs. And then the Obsessed Garage revenue, I could start to pay myself to take some of the risk off the table, stockpile some monies, and then also invest back in it. Because one of the big things that's coming at some point is a facility, an Obsessed Garage facility, God willing. So, that's going to take some serious monies. A lot of people think about, which I just don't think this way, think about, well, let's say I get my house, and you pay off your house, and then you get some land for the business, and then you own the land, and then you use the land in order to get a note on the building, and then you basically pay yourself rent. So you'd own the building in a separate company, and an Obsessed Garage would pay rent, which would then help pay off the building, and you pay it off quicker, and then you own the building, and you own the land, and you own your house, and then you get a vacation property and you own that, and then you get some rentals and you own those, and then you die, right? So I don't really care. You know, you can't take it with you. Although I think I'm finally at the place where the cars that I own are going to have some appreciative value to them. So I'm shifting from I think this is happening from a depreciation-focused consumer. You know, a lot of my pursuit in my life hasn't been that story I just told you. My pursuit has been cool stuff. Whether it depreciates or appreciates, and not live my life by, there's so many people, you do this with your cars, you do this with your house, you do this with everything. It's like, well, resale value is king. So then you end up living somebody else's life because you're basing everything on resale value. That's just a terrible way to live. You know, and everything is all about, it's a little dark. And everything you do is about the next guy. I don't freaking give a crap about the next guy. And maybe what's starting to happen is maybe there isn't going to be a next guy as often. Like with this car, I would intend to hang on to it. Intend. Let's just start using that word, intend. Because things change. I love this exhaust. And I thought maybe the chrome tips would bother me, the polished stainless tips. But they're fine. It's a non-event. Because of the design of the bumper on this car, I don't think of this as a real exhaust tip heavy car. You know, it's not the focus of the rear end of the car. The bumper kind of disguises the tips to some extent, so it's not a big deal that these aren't super attractive. Man, it's nice out today. I just want to get over all this freaking sick crap. I'm feeling fired up about getting back on my mountain bike, figuring out a new workout regimen. CrossFit and me, I think are on the outs. At least modern CrossFit. The problem with modern CrossFit is it's just too darn complicated. They've made it run away from us. Doing handstand walks and all this freaking nonsense. It's great if you're 5'3", but if you're not a baby, it's impossible to do. It's just not any fun. Like 4 out of 5 workouts, I have no interest in doing because it's so sophisticated and so complicated. Doing squat snatches for volume, it's just frustrating. It's like in the very beginning it was so much fun because you did a lot of just simple athletic movements but you constantly vary those. Now we're doing like handstand push-ups in place. I can't even do them against the wall because I'm not 5'3". So everything's built for tiny gymnasts. I just don't like it. And maybe I'll have that conversation with my gym. It's just not fun anymore. And then I hurt my knee. I think my knee. I think I'm going to need surgery. It feels a lot better, but I think I tore my meniscus again. Which would be no big deal if I wasn't deathly afraid of the frickin' doctor and passing out and all that crap, which we talked about before. So, it's probably going to be a mistake. But I'm back on building my own gym. I probably just need to, do a little co-op, get a little warehouse around here somewhere and get 2, 3, 4, 5 people together. And we can just do simple stuff. Do cleans, do box jumps, do, bench, and do some basic crap. Do old school CrossFit where it's not so freaking complicated that no one can do it. Wall balls, push-ups, rope climbs, simple stuff. I'm looking for race glaze. So, anyway, I'm struggling with that a bit. It's like I've had the first epiphany that my athlete days, I'm 41 years old, I don't have a passion for it like I would need to be an athlete. So, you've seen me the last 5 or 6 years have been not as fit as I was in the beginning of the YouTube days. And I'm much more fit mentally, but physically not so much. And not very good at doing things that I don't love. So I'm in a bit of a limbo stage right now. This getting sick for a week or 2 or 3 or a month has been it's made me reassess. So that leads me to my next topic, the house. I've been talking about Destination OG. We look every single day, just can't find anything that I want up there. So I probably will have to just sit tight. All the houses I want are like $5 million, they're $5 million, $2 million houses, right? They were $2 million and now they're $5 million. And they will be $2.2 million again, I think, at some point. So I'm just gonna sit tight. Too many $5 million, $2 million houses. So what I might have to do is just build something, which I don't want to do. And so, I've told you the Homeowners Association saga. So the Homeowners Association issue is just a good old-fashioned, good old boys club issue. Only nerds. It's a nerd tacky club, where these. Think about your grandparents. They don't know that they're tacky. They don't know that they don't have any style. That's just them. That's who they are. And so when you show up and you try to do something like solar panels, like Tesla Solar, something really cool. Like if they were going to do solar, they'd get duped. Think about it. Your grandparents would get duped into some weird, local contractor that decided to get into solar and he's selling some garbage. And so when I show up and want to do all this, new garage doors, try new things, make the house really, really cool, they just have no frame of reference for it. Someone might have a Corvette. That's that's their thing. They don't have nobody drives, Porsches and M3s. This is a very simple area. And they don't want guys like me. They don't want me there. They don't want that. And that's understandable. It's their place. And it starts with the developer. So it's a weird place in that the Yale Endowment owns the community. They own the property. And so the property is being developed. So these same guys have been doing it for 20 plus years, have the contract to develop the community, and then they make a percentage of whatever the community makes, whatever they make profit-wise. And he's an old school kind of New York prick, He has the New York accent and everything. He's always in lawsuits with everybody and always fighting everybody. And I never knew why. I always thought they were super nice, and until I moved in there, and then it all turns to crap. And then they pretend that it's the homeowners association. No, it's like 2 or 3 people that all have the same mindset that we're going to keep this place the same. So these are all $200,000, $400,000 houses, right? And so the average home has light teal walls and a red accent wall somewhere and cherry cabinets and, all the typical 70-year-old lady crap. Knickknacks on the, there's always a knickknack shelf, and some guy's got an American flag hanging in his garage, and has some like melamine Home Depot cabinets in there that block the parking space. It's just that the typical American stuff. No one wants to evolve. No one wants to change. Just a bunch of regular people. And so I show up as a psychopath, and I want to do some cool stuff, and that ain't happening. So, and they're just so inefficient. Like there's no, like I submitted to do my garage doors 2.5 weeks ago now, and I still haven't heard anything back. Like, well, we're considering it. I have brown garage doors on the house now, and I'm doing brown garage doors again. You won't even notice a difference. But because they're not like some cheap piece of crap, they're not sure. So, anyway, where was I going with that? So, I got to get out of there. The plan was to just, I really like the house. I kind of like the simplicity of it. There's no mortgage on it. It's been a place where I've been trying out different things like the zip hydro tap and doing some different backsplash tile and playing with some Wolf Sub-Zero stuff, building a summer kitchen or outdoor kitchen for the first time. Never done that. Kind of figuring out what I would want. And I might win, I might lose some of that money, whatever. It's worth it to me to try it out. And while I'm living there, kind of get to enjoy living in a place that I like rather than some dumpy piece of crap place. And so the frustration, did I clean the wheel wells? I think I did. The frustration is that I can't do what I want. I've got to wait for them to say yes or no. Like it's my freaking house. I bought it. I got some tacky goofball people with nothing to do telling me yes or no what I can do to my own house. Which, by the way, is not going to look. It's going to look good, great, and improve the value of everybody's house around me. But it's about control. It's about power in numbers. It's essentially a bunch of what are registered Republicans pretending or acting like socialists, like it's for the well-being of all, that we in power, us 3 or 4 people in power, have the say in what you can do, Mr. Matt. That's what it's about. And I don't deal well with that, That's why I have my own business. That's why I got fired from my last job. Those in power want to stay in power, and want to keep that power at all costs. That's what it's about. It's not about, I mean, no one would argue that what I'm doing doesn't look good. It's not like I'm painting the house purple and doing some cheap, junky stuff and adding some weird landscaping. That's what everybody else is doing, and that's okay. So, in other words, it's just not going to work for me. I got to get out of there. And I don't want to fight. I don't want the fight. I just want to do what I want to do. And so, anyway, we're really close to getting the lot back next to my old house. And then people were saying, well, why didn't you just keep your old house? I said, well, I didn't want that house anymore. I was going to have to tear it. Like, it just wasn't a well-built house. Or it was a well-built house for the time. But it's not now. It was a really sophisticated roof and pretty sophisticated design, but it just didn't work. You know, doing tongue and groove, I really needed to rip the tongue and groove out. I basically needed to tear the house down and start over. Otherwise, I was always going to have a leaky, inefficient, just not a well-built house to today's standards. You know, you saw me trying to fight it to get it insulated and always having problems with the air conditioning, and it's kind of like this car. You know, you spend the time doing the detail stuff, so that way when I do have to take care of it, isn't as painful. And so that house, although when you do a lot of upfront costs of like things like proper sheathing and proper insulation, even though it's not a direct return, there's a lot of return in, like, just say, you know, like I had a lot of rooms in the other house that would be hot, and then others that would be humid, and just not, no one really thought about that. They didn't know to think about that, I guess. You know, it's a 15-year-old, 16-year-old house. So we wanted out of there. You know, it's great. It's fine for someone. Like, the people who have it is perfect for them. But I want like a modern building science, properly done house. Even the house I'm in now is built with more sophistication. It's just a lot cheaper, you know, a lot cheaper built. More custom, but it's still a cheap house. So, we're going to buy the lot next door to my, hopefully. The story there is, you know, the lot's not for sale. But I called the lady, and we found the lady who owned it. Michelle's been talking to her, and they're in their, you know, it's mid to late 70s, and they're just kind of, they just bought it, but they were going to build, but now they decided not to. You know, he's not in good health. And so, yeah, I kind of like this angle. Let's stay at this angle. And so she's willing to sell it to us, but we've just been kind of waiting. He's not doing so well. He's been really sick. So we've just kind of been giving him some space. And then I'm hoping to buy it for, you know, we offered him $90,000 for it. They bought it for 86, you know, less than a year ago. So we'll probably end up getting it for, say, 100 or so, something like that. And it's 2.4 acres, so it's a little less than half the size of what our house was, or what our last house had. But it had all that extra space we never used, and then I just had to take care of it. Just too much. Let me dial this up a little bit. The sun's coming for us. So, we're hopefully going to get that lot. Let me just film this, and then I'll tell you about what I'm planning. let's go fill up our buckets. Just turn it this way. So, let me see what I'm going to do here. That's fine, whatever. You can still hear me. So, hopefully we'll get that lot, half the acreage, and then I'm going to do a really dense property where we have a lot of cool stuff on that property. The only thing I worry about is having enough. You have to have a certain amount of clean and green space. So I want to build a sport court, and I want to have a giant pool, and I want to have a giant driveway. So those things might create a bit of a problem. So we have to think about that. So the architect will help me answer that. Any soap in here? No, probably not enough. Yeah, that should be good. So that lot is 2.4 acres, and I think the house, so we're going to build a house on it, and I think the house is probably going to end up being about, I'd like to have it be about 5,000 square feet, but I think it's probably going to end up being closer to 6. This is, one of those things I think you aspire to work toward. Is that I'm buying a house that's not on or I'm buying a lot that's not on the market, and I'm going to put a house that has nothing to do with resale value that'll very likely end up being pretty valuable. Because the lesson I've learned, like this house that I put all this money into, this little crap house, with the HOA, there's like 4 or 5 other houses for sale in the community, and they're nothing like what I put together because people just don't know how to do it. They don't know how. They don't have a reference for finding cool stuff. They don't. But everybody wants it when they see it, and so crap. I forgot I don't have my water-resistant shoes on. So, anyway, I think that the house is probably going to end up being about 6,000 square feet. I've told you in previous videos what I wanted, like things like a office theater. The garage, I think that the garage is going to end up being 60-ish by 40. It's about 2,400 square foot garage. We're going to have another probably 3-car or oversized 2-car family garage. We're going to have tons of exterior storage for instance, we'll have a sport court closet, for all the sports gear. We'll have a bike closet and bike and exterior or whatever kids crap for outside. We're going to have multiple pool closets so that all the pool stuff can go in its own dedicated area. And I'm starting to think that I'm going to build a gym. So think of the sport court on the back side of the garage, and then the gym would be a barn door style thing that would open up into the sport court. So the gym would be kind of centered in the sport court. And that's the plan. Dang it. So, I've already told you all that crap that I want. But what's changed this week is I want to build an ICF house. My buddy Justin Green turned me on to this a number of years ago. And every time we thought about building a house, we kept finding a house that we ended up buying instead that was acceptable, and then try to set that house up the way we'd want. So I think we're going to do it ICF. Now ICF makes even more sense because concrete and foam hasn't risen as much in cost as lumber has, and blocks in a block. So now ICF, an ICF built house will probably end up being, the framing of the house will actually end up being less than if I were to do it traditionally. ICF stands for insulated concrete forms. And so we'll do ICF first floor structure. I don't think we'd do an ICF roof. We'd probably just do a traditional framed roof. But the key is I want to do a lot of modern building science techniques and skills, which most builders don't know how to do. And I don't want to be the guinea pig. And so I started just doing some really simple Google searching. I found like the journal of ICF construction, and then that led me to a company here in Orlando called Turning Leaf, because I'd been talking to a couple other builders about what I was planning, and they didn't know what zip-bar sheathing was. You know, I'm a big Matt Reisinger fan, big build show fan. They didn't know what Schluter Curdy was. They didn't know what Huber zip-bar was. They didn't know any of that. I said, well, we don't know, but we can figure it out. I said, I don't know that I want to be the guinea pig. I want to find somebody that knows what they're doing. So I called this guy. I ended up getting one of the partners from Turning Leaf, and he was spouting off things like, yeah, we use zip-bar sheathing, we do Zender air filter. I think it's Zender air filtration. We do, and we only build an ICF. It's like perfect. And then we had like an hour-long conversation about what I'm intending to do and share this whole process. And there's a huge marketing advantage for both of us if they're good, and we're gonna really produce this well. So, yeah, I'm excited about the proposition of building this. So I've been saying I'm not ready, but I'm ready. Ready to build a house. I wanted it to be a little bit further along, like in a year or two. But this HOA thing has really motivated me to do it. So then they connected me with an architect, because I need an architect that knows how to design and take into account ICF construction, because the walls end up being quite a bit bulkier. So I need to factor that in. And then I booked an appointment, so I'm going on, and I've already drawn up the house on Home Designer, like the basics. I need some help with hallways and transitions and stairwells and stuff like that. Do we do it all in single story, or do we do a 2-story? And then I just, want a well-designed, lots of, proper flow. So I'm going to incorporate my interior designer, me, and then the architect. So we're moving. Wednesday, I haven't even gotten a lot yet. I think we're going to get it. But Wednesday, I'm going to meet with the architect. We're going to I'm going to start to put the pencil to paper and start the process. I think the plans are probably going to cost about 10 grand. The lot's going to be, say, 100. So I'll just pay cash for those, get those out of the way. Then I'll probably do all the site clearing. I'll probably just hire that out, pay for that, get the trees and all the site work done and property graded and all of that. Get that all done out of pocket, and try to do as much as I can cash, and then I won't sell this house until we're like the day we move in. Then I would list this house. So I don't want to do dang it, I don't want to do that dance of having to move out real fast and all that crap, and then somebody backs out of a deal and then you're screwed. So I'm hoping I'll have a large percentage of the, like I'd probably buy the sport court cash. Obviously all the garage stuff. Have all the interior design stuff, which is probably gonna be a couple $100,000 in interior design. So I think the house is probably, Michelle's like, we need to set a budget. I'm like, that's not how you do it. That's how you do it if you're a regular. I'll figure out how to pay for it. I'll make more videos, chase more products, borrow some money, whatever I gotta do. We're gonna build it to what it needs to be. Everybody, you have an internal barometer of like, you're not gonna do, marble ceilings or some crazy crap. You gotta draw the line somewhere. But I'm starting with what do we actually want? And then we'll back out a bit if it gets to 3 or 4 million. My guess is it's probably going to take about 2.5 million to do what I want. And so the house in this neighborhood, the problem is there are no $2.5 million house neighborhoods in this area. There's like one, but that's where the Villages family lives. So I'm just resigned to the fact that when I'm done with that house, there will be nothing else like it. There's going to be some other doctor or lawyer or somebody who wants that house. Because if a house like this existed right now, I would buy it. We went and looked at a $2.9 million, 10,000 square foot house like a month ago. And it was terrible. I had no interest in it. It was just junk. A house that had a $1,200 a month electric bill. That's just not so much. I mean, if we're talking about buying these expensive houses, I mean that $1,200 isn't going to make or break you, but that just tells you the house is junk. Leaking air everywhere. It's just not efficient. Not good construction. And I was crawling around the attic. You can just see it. It was built just like my last house. And it was remodeled, but not well. And that's the typical conundrum is, how well is the house built? What am I getting into that I don't want to get into? And so that makes me confident. Like my Harbor Hills house, I'm going to be able to sell even if it's not instantly, like if the market softens and there aren't as many buyers. Like if I listed my house right now for sale for $700,000, I'd probably be able to sell it. Even though it was a $400,000 house, it's a lot different now. I'd also pitch the fact that you can't do any of this stuff. Like, we had to get in trouble and hire attorneys and do all kinds of crap to be able to get this done. Because the HOA doesn't want you to do it. So, maybe not, but I'm pretty sure. So the same thing with this house. I guarantee you I'm going to build this house and I'm going to do some stuff wrong. And then I'm going to want to build another one and fix all the mistakes that I made in this one. And so we'll rinse and repeat. But the main thing that I'm looking to accomplish, the big lesson learned, like we would be fine in the Harbor Hills house that I'm in now, but the kids, and they're fine in it too, but it's just not, like you can't have a bunch of people over, there's nowhere to put stuff, it's not good. It's not a good user experience, if you will. we just don't like it. I don't mind it if it was just me. It's just uncomfortable. So we need some space to spread out and be left alone. And the cool thing about my other neighborhood, we have an HOA, but it's not really an HOA. It's just a bunch of people that live in a community together that want the gate to work. That's what an HOA should be. Hey, what do you want to do? You want to do some new garage doors? Okay, cool. Are they purple? No, they're brown, same color. Okay, cool. Go ahead. So, the thing we're going to have to figure out is style. I'm not sure what style house we want to build. Some sort of hybrid version of a modern farmhouse. But I don't want to do modern farmhouse because, that's going to be out of style at some point in the not too distant future. I want to build something timeless. So it's going to be a hybrid of, modern architecture and like warm wood tones. One thing we're not frickin' doing is building like everybody's building white and gray. This white, gray, Miami looking house like everybody's building now, which I think looks cool, but it's not going to look cool 10 years from now. Shoot, we still got time. I can just walk. I can just do this right here. I got my drying aid. Move the camera because the sun's about to get it. Move on to the next project, which is to work on the tire mounting and balancing. So, it's supposed to take like 18 minutes to do 4 wheels and tires. I'm about 3 hours into doing, and I'm two done. It's a learning curve. I'm doing it on my own with no help, trying to figure out how to watch in tutorials and stuff like that, and I keep encountering little hiccups on things while I'm doing it. And if you don't have all the tricks that one would develop over time doing wheel mounting and balancing, then it becomes pretty difficult. I realize I get into some real deep thoughts when I'm doing the drying process. When I was doing the drying with the leaf blower, all thoughts that I probably can't talk about here because I'll get canceled. So we'll just keep those thoughts to myself. I'll let you wonder what that could be. So we're in kind of a limbo land. We're making a transition from a focused personal brand to a real brand where Obsessed Garage is providing all these solutions. And so in the beginning it was real easy to organize all those solutions, but now it's gotten complicated because there's a lot of stuff. And so we're trying to figure out how to make that transition to supporting the site with all the information of all the questions. See, we now know, not only do I know what you want, now I know what I haven't answered for you. What questions have we not answered? Or what questions have we answered but in too long of a format for people to digest? And so we're trying to figure out what resources are needed in order to create like Obsessed Garage Shorts, but still, the main drive or the main focus is the main YouTube channel. And so we're having not a struggle, but a bit of a transition into providing both resources, both the short form content and the long form stuff. And who do I need to do that? And how much money do I have to allocate to that? How much is that going to generate in order to justify the expense? So that's been we're in a bit of a transition phase there, figuring that all out. I'd like to get a new windshield for this car. Got a couple of chips. New drying aid gallon should be back in stock this week. A bunch of shipments get lost. So we have gallons coming, but they seem to be lost. Placed a major press-all order. It's going to be a while. I'm going to figure out how to get all these products in stock. I think I'm going to drive the GT3 and the Tesla this week. I want to test out my road force mounting and balancing skills to see if I actually did it okay. The first one, I think I may have ruined the tire. I think I was trying to figure out how to force match it. So this is the thing they don't really explain to you, which I'm going to spend time explaining and simplifying. So what does road force actually mean? What does it do? How do you what do you do about it? So I'd always thought that road force balancing meant that it applied force to the wheel, and then you would just position the weights based on that that condition of having pressure on the tire and wheel. But that's not what it actually is. What the road force tells you is the tire properly mounted on the wheel? So it will teach you or have you set up the wheel and tire differently. So in other words, you road force the wheel and tire, and then you take the wheel and tire off the balancer, you go over to your mounter, you then reposition the tire on the wheel, so that way you're maximizing the balance. But it doesn't tell you that anywhere. I just assumed that you'd mounted the darn thing, and then you go throw it on the car, or you mount the thing, or you go throw it on, you mount the tire, you go throw it on the balancer, and then the road force does the balancing. No, that's not how it works. The road force tells you to take it back to the balancer and reposition the tire on the wheel. They call it rim. It drives me crazy. So you go reposition the tire on the wheel, and I couldn't figure out how to do that. Because I didn't use enough lube, so the tire was stuck. It wouldn't spin. So then I think I ended up damaging the tire, because now it won't road force. I can't get a proper balance. So anyway, and I'm testing on a Tesla. I think the Tesla's going to be exiting here shortly. I talked about this on the podcast. The Tesla's reminding me of my iPad experience. I always want an iPad, right? I just think it's cool. And I was like, well, here's what I'm going to use the iPad for. I'm going to get the iPad. I'm going to use it for traveling. And when it's more convenient to use it versus instead of my laptop. And I'll get the keyboard for it. So what I do is I say, okay, I'm going to get the iPad Pro, and then I'm going to get the most memory, because you never know, you might need it. And then I'm going to get the charger. I'm going to get multiple chargers. So I have one at the office, and one at my desk, and one near my end table. And then, I might watch movies, on it sometimes. And, I create all these scenarios where the iPad's going to be freaking fantastic. And then I get it all set up. I get the right case for it, shop for cases, get everything all dialed in, get all my plug-in stations all set up, get the apps all dialed, figure out, the keyboard and when am I going to use that. Make sure I know how I'm going to travel with it. So it's all the fun. It's the pursuit, the shopping for it, the setting up all the apps, doing all that legwork, and then guess where the iPad goes? It sits on my freaking end table next to my bed and never moves. It just sits there. This thing is stupid. There's no use for it. And so the Tesla reminds me of that experience. Because my laptop and my desktop are so much more capable and easier to navigate and easier to use. So my MacBook Pro, I use that 95% of the time, and then my iMac and iMac Pros, I end up using that all the time. So there's really no use for the iPad, so it just sits there. Or I use my phone, because the phone is in my pocket anyway and much more convenient. So the Tesla's a lot like that, and then I have a GT3, we've got a Raptor, we've got all these other vehicles. Why in the world would I want to use an iPad when I have a MacBook Pro? It's very rare that it makes any sense to use it. And so my Tesla feels a lot like that. So I'm surprised, not surprised, but I thought I would like something. I thought the quality would be an issue, or I thought the driving experience would be an issue. It's just not, there's just no need for it. I have no need for it. The novelty of charging it and using electric is okay and cool, but give up that pipe dream that you're saving the world. The way you're saving the world with a Tesla is, and I think Elon Musk has spoken to this, he doesn't harp on it. An electric car is not sustainable energy. An electric car is the pathway to figuring out what sustainable energy could be. Meaning, an electric car, you still have to get cobalt. They have to produce and mine lithium, or I guess lithium is made in salt baths. So you have to have some things that uses tons and tons of water. So there's a lot of environmental issues. I don't know if it's an equal environmental problem as gas, but it's a different subset of environmental problems. So it's not sustainable. It's not, batteries are not the end all. You still have to burn coal to get electricity, unless you have solar or something like that. And solar, wind, all that stuff is great, but there are byproducts to all of that as well. I don't know that it's equal to the byproducts of fossil fuels, but the viability of electric is not what dorks in California think it is. There's a byproduct and a negative aspect to that as well. So, but I do believe Elon is right that it is a very necessary pathway to the future of potential sustainable energy. Through improvement of solar, improvement of capturing of, the radiation that naturally exists. I really wish that we would start to focus on the modernization of atomic power. But I don't know why I'm getting on this diatribe with you, because I'm not an expert in any of this. I'm just using common sense. But common sense tells me that the Tesla, the actual physical Model 3, is too similar to a modern combustion engine vehicle with its own subset of issues. So it's not sustainable. It's not there. But it's certainly a step in that direction, I believe. So that's why I want to experience it. And I'll probably get another one, and I like the idea of the Roadster. And it'll just be like that my transition from iPad to iPad Pro. When the iPad Pro came out, I'm like, now we're talking. This could be it. But yet, the iPad Pro that I got still sat on my end table and never got used. So I think it's a bit of a pipe dream to hope that your Tesla is going to replace your MacBook Pro, if you will. But the tech is really, really cool and really fun to experience. And what I had hoped is that, I've talked about my driving woes and my issues with vasovagal. I had hoped that the Tesla would be a solution for that. But it's not. Hasn't solved that problem for me. So I really have a lot of work to do on the home garage, the garage here at HQ. I've got a lot of stuff to do. but I'm making progress every day toward that goal. So I think the Tesla's going. I'm kind of interested in. Probably don't need anything else to be interested in. I'm interested in a Supra. I've also been interested in gaining interest in Lotus, the new Lotus Emira or Amira. So I'm assuming maybe they're going to call it the Amira because of Evora, but it looks like it's Amira. So that's an interesting car to me. You know, the Evora GT, I was looking at those, but that car is freaking ugly, man. But I've been thinking about that. Pure driver's car. I probably hate the quality of British quality. It's part of the reason why I have no interest in McLarens. Let's see here. We clean this bottom side. We gotta add some tire dressing. Wipe off the wheels. I'm gonna have to remove the wheels here soon and recoat them. It's time for that. So I was talking about on the podcast, my new favorite thing. I'm telling you, you got to go watch this. Go watch Ted Lasso on Apple TV Plus. It's so freaking good. It's my current life motivation is to have that kind of mindset, that art of just not giving a crap. Just be super kind, and I struggle with that. I think that's about it for you today. I'm going to share the process. I don't think I'm going to take my camera. I don't want to be distracted. So I'll probably just do after meeting video content instead of during meetings, so I can stay focused on, because, you know, designing a house can be somewhat complicated, especially as sophisticated as I want it to be. So again, I don't think I'm taking my camera with me. Get the tire stuff here. Well, this is pretty good. I wasn't thinking I was going to be able to get this done here today. Got 11 minutes left on my battery. I ought to be able to do the tire dressing here real quickly. And this car's clean. This is good. I was planning on washing the car this afternoon, this evening. I don't have any wheel and tire towels. I took them all next door because I was working on the Tesla wheels and mounting and balancing. I'm so frustrated because I bought some 15 millimeter spacers. I think maybe I sold them. I think I did. So I have 20 millimeter spacers in the rear, but I upsized the tires on the Tesla. And so now I have 245s instead of 235s. And so I need to go back to a 15 millimeter spacer. And I couldn't find them anywhere. So I think I remember, maybe somebody bought them from me. Oh, a little streak spot there. So the E36 is rounding out, which that means the E46 project is about to start. And I'm thinking the E46 is going to end up becoming a giveaway car. The E46 is reminding me a lot of the F10 M5. And then I thought I was going to love it. But you don't know until you own something and have a extended experience with it. I just don't think the S54 is for me. I don't think I'm going to like that. I still think the NSX is still really interesting to me. If it's interesting to me, I need to buy it now. So that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about Tesla, moving on from the Tesla, getting rid of that. I got the GT3 Touring hopefully coming next year. And so if I did a giveaway, on the E46 and E46 giveaway, sell the Model 3, I would probably pull the suspension off, go back to stock and all that. Sell that sucker. I don't feel like cleaning the interior. I'm just gonna do one of these deals. There we go. Yeah. There we go. And anyway, get an NSX or something like that. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm gonna clean all this stuff up. I'm gonna go probably set the camera up and video my last wheel. I think I want to chronicle my progression in learning how to do wheels and tires. And when I actually do a really nice set of wheels, I'm gonna schedule it where Todd from Hunter can come and kind of babysit me while I'm doing that wheel and tire. Or wheel and tire combo when I do something more expensive, like when I get the Bostons back or something like that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Go become a member Inside the Hex. Go Obsessed Garage membership Inside the Hex. You can watch it on your phone or on your on your computer, or you could AirPlay it to your TV through. But we have have to do it through. It's kind of clunky. It's hard to URL lock something like that. So it's not as simple. We're gonna have to develop something in the future, something more sophisticated. Anyway, thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more crazy. See you soon.